Dora, and welcome everyone to another exclusive Client Connect session. Thank you so much for joining us today. And of course, yours truly, my name is Em, and I'm the Digital Program Administrator of Secure Visa based here in Auckland, New Zealand. And of course, Secure Visa is very pleased to have our very special guest for today's Client Connect session. He is a familiar face to all our clients and to our dear followers. This esteemed guest is a holder of Bachelor of Arts degree major in Political Science in Ateneo de Manila University. His admissions include the Supreme Court in the Philippines and in Auckland High Court. He is recognized as a leading immigration specialist in our Filipino community here in New Zealand, and I can attest to that. He moved to New Zealand in 2006 and in 2012 started to practice immigration law, which led to establishing his own firm in June 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all welcome Attorney Jean Bagsic. Kia ora, Attorney Jean. Kamusta po
Kia
kayo?
ora, M. Good afternoon to everyone, to all your viewers and your avid fans. Maraming salamat for inviting me.
Yes, thank you, Attorney Jean. Now, just a COVID update. As of the moment, New Zealand is on red alert. So what does this mean? Everyone is required to wear a mask. Hindi pwedeng bandana, hindi pwedeng scarves. Really required to wear a mask because this is in response to the highly transmissible Omicron variant. All right. And moving on, we have very exciting news. This is very relevant regarding the New Zealand borders reopening. Ito yung isa sa mga pinakahihintay ng mga kliyente natin. The
Mhm.
government has announced a 5-step plan for a phased reopening of the international border. Now, to further discuss the details, allow me to call back Attorney Jean. Attorney Jean, the floor is yours.
Hello, thanks, M. So, gaya ng sabi ni M, so it's a good news for everyone wanting to visit, study, or work in New Zealand. So, the government had announced there would be a five-step plan of reopening the borders. Okay, so parang take two ito. They had announced last year, medyo naudlot because of Omicron, but then they are reintroducing another five-step plan. Okay, so first step, okay, uh, first step is starting on February 28th. Okay? Actually, that's February 27th, 11:59 p.m. But let's consider the next days of February 28th. So, New Zealand will be starting to open to fully vaccinated New Zealand citizens, residents, and other eligible travelers from Australia. Okay? So, inulit ko, only those citizens and residents na coming from Australia. Okay? Kasi as probably some of you might know, New Zealand and Australia has this very close relationship. And there's a parang a trans-Tasman uh, treaty wherein there's a free movement of New Zealanders and Australians between each country. Okay? So, yan ang first phase, February 28. Okay. Second phase is on March 14. Okay. Mga approximately a month, 3 weeks after. Okay. So, New Zealand will be opening to New Zealand citizens, residents, and other eligible travelers coming from anywhere in the world, meaning other countries apart from Australia. Okay? So magre-reopen din ang working holiday schemes. Okay? So I think uh, there is arrangement with other countries, even in the Philippines. There's a working holiday scheme in the Philippines, so that will be open as well on March 14th. So these are all announcements yet. So no further instructions or specifics. It's all based on announcement. Okay. Now the third phase is on April 13. Okay. So this would be opening, so New Zealand will be opening to fully vaccinated international students up to 5,000. So I think this is where VPNZ will come into play. So be ready to be busy, M, and your team. So April 13 is the date. Okay. So 5,000. So I think this is a very limited slot, and I don't know how much intake it was 2 years ago before the borders were closed, but I think 5,000 is still a lot. But then it might, run out of slots because, as we all know, New Zealand is a very in-demand country at the moment because of our COVID response, especially with the government. Okay. Also, in that third phase, April 13, the borders will be opening to other temporary visa holders, yung mga valid pa yung visa na hindi nakapasok because of the border closure. Okay, as long as the visa conditions are still met. For example, there's still a job offer waiting for them, they still have a job, or also a class of workers for events and government approved projects or programs will be open to those types of people. Okay? So medyo marami-rami yan, April 13. Okay? So that would be probably one of the busiest. Okay? Um, that would be uh, opening up for New Zealand. Okay? Now, step 4. Okay? This would be a reopening of New Zealand to Australian citizens and residents and other foreigners or travelers from visa waiver countries. Okay? Of course, when you say visa waiver countries, you have the likes of the United States, Australia, Canada, Japan, Korea, and all other countries, European countries. Okay, so nandiyan yung mga visa-free countries. Unfortunately, Philippines is not a visa-free country, as you all know. You have to apply for a visa to enter New Zealand. So it's only on step 5, okay, that New Zealand will be opening to international travelers or visitors from other countries na hindi visa free. Okay, so this is all in the website. This is all over the news in New Zealand, so you can check the website. So it just means na when you enter New Zealand on those states, if you qualify on those requirements or in those parameters or in those groups of people, you can enter New Zealand without quarantine, without MIQ hotel. Okay, so that's what it means to for the border reopening of New Zealand. Okay, but as of now, if you want to enter New Zealand, okay, you have to seek border exception and book an MIQ hotel. But after those dates na phase 1 to 5, the borders will be reopening, wala ng MIQ hotel, wala ng quarantine. Okay? So, I think that's about it for me. Very interesting news, very promising, and very exciting. Okay, I should say.
Yes. Yes po. Ito yung talagang pinagka-aabangan natin lahat, Attorney Jean.
Yes.
Yung regarding border reopening for New Zealand, right? And syempre, Attorney Jean, hindi mawawala ang question and answer. We've received heaps of questions. We
Mm-hmm.
had to narrow down po for enough lang with our time here. So,
Yes, yes, of
umpisahan ko
course.
na po the first question po is when will be the offshore visa application open?
So offshore visa, if you talk about students, okay? So if you talk about international students, so it will be on iba phase or step 3.
Yes.
Okay, so
Opo.
that is on April 13. Okay?
Mhm.
So that would be for international students. But when you talk of international visitors, when you talk of other kinds of visas, temporary visas like work
Yes.
visas, so
Opo.
you're looking at step 5 or October 2022. But I
Yes.
think I forgot to mention, Emma. I mean, Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister, had announced that October 2022 it would be the latest. Okay, so the borders can reopen earlier if
Ah,
if the conditions will be favorable or if the COVID response is a lot better.
mhm.
So
Yes.
that is the context which
Uh,
was October 22 was announced. Okay. So it could be
yes.
earlier, latest na yung October, sabi ni Jacinda Ardern.
That's
Okay?
even better, Attorney Jean. So the
Mm,
latest is October 2022.
yes, could be earlier actually. Yes.
Ayan. So let's all hope na earlier than that.
Mm, mhm.
Okay. Next question, Attorney Jean. How to be eligible for the 5,000 international students that can enter on April 2022?
Okay, in terms of eligibility, I think you would still need to meet the criteria in terms of applying for international student. Okay, still the same policy. I think nothing much has changed. Okay, in terms of the funds, in terms of requiring IELTS, in terms of
Mm-hmm.
the medical or police check. So I think nothing had changed unless
Okay.
last minute mag-release ang immigration.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But in
Yes.
terms of securing that spot, the 5,000, we don't know. Kung lottery
Mm-hmm.
ba yan or whatever, we don't know.
Yes.
Okay? So we'll wait and see.
Yes. And to add lang po, attorney, no, this is on top of dun sa 2020 and 2021 border exception cohort. So this is in addition, but yun nga, as what Attorney Gina's mentioned, wala pang specific information as to
Mm-hmm.
how this 5,000 international students will be, selected through lottery or
Mm-hmm.
what, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here at Secure Visa, get in touch with your specialists because this is very important. Of course, we want to know your intention para at least once this has been announced specific, nakapila na kayo. So do keep in touch with us, okay? Thanks, attorney. Next question is this applicable to the dependent of the selected international student po?
Okay,
Is
I
this
think
also?
if you talk about dependents, I don't think they would be eligible by same time as April 13
Okay.
yung student.
Mm-hmm.
So probably they would have to wait for step 5, okay, which is
Mm,
October. Okay.
okay po. Mm-hmm.
So again, it might change, but at the moment, if you read closely, based
Mm-hmm.
on what's on the announcement, I think the
Yes.
dependents October pa lang sila.
October 2022. Based on the now po, wala pang
Yeah.
further
Mhm.
information. Okay po.
Mhm.
Next po is there any changes on the funds needed or cost of living in New Zealand?
I think I did check the policy.
Mhm.
Parang ganun pa rin naman. It's still 15,000 or 1 to 50 per month based on what's on
Hmm,
the policy now. So
okay.
it might change kasi 'di ba mataas ang inflation ngayon,
Mhm, yes, opo.
So, immigration just can change everything in an instant.
Yes,
So we don't know. But at the moment, it's still 15,000, 1 to 50.
okay. At the
Mhm.
moment, 15,000 pa rin, or one
Mhm.
to 50 per month. Okay po.
Yes.
Next po is about long-term skill shortage list. How application with the immigration works? Are the qualifications strictly specific?
Okay, wala na yan. Long-term shortage skill list. So that was abolished or removed in on 31 October last
Mhm.
year. So November 1, wala. No one can apply for the long-term shortage.
Okay. So not applicable na po as of
Yes.
now.
Mhm.
Okay. Next po is what will happen when the student failed to get his or her PR, permanent residence, during the post-study work permit, or meaning residency during the post-study work visa 1 year? What will be the status?
Okay. It's very important to note that whatever your situation is, you always have to have a valid visa in New Zealand. So in this scenario, natapos ka na mag-aral, you student, you have your post-study, natapos na. So you have to apply for a further visa, whether it be another work visa, the essential, okay, which will be removed in June, by the way, or July,
Mhm,
with the accredited employer work visa,
mhm,
or you have to study again. Okay, you can do
mhm,
that. Nothing will prevent you from studying again.
mhm.
Or if you apply for a visitor, you can apply also for a visitor. So you can apply for any visa. Okay,
Yes.
as long as you have to have a valid visa during your stay in New Zealand. Hindi pwede mag-overstay. Okay, hindi pwedeng
Okay.
walang visa.
All right. Sige po. So, as per Attorney Jean, you have to have a valid visa during your entire stay in New Zealand. Yun ang
Mhm.
importante po. Okay po. Next is, what will be implications if a student will declare partnership if the partner is separated from previous spouse?
Okay, I do get this question a lot, and a lot of people get confused with this one. Kasi sa Philippines, okay, I'm a lawyer in the Philippines, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the Philippines, you're either single or married. Okay? Nothing in between. Walang common law marriage, walang partnership. Okay? You're either single or married. Okay? In New Zealand, it's different. You can be single, you can be married, you can be divorced, you can be separated, you can be in a partnership, you can be a civil union, you can be never married, you can be widowed. Okay? So napakaraming ano yan. Okay? So, that is a difference. Maraming nalilito dyan. They tick the wrong box when they do apply. So, in number 7, if you are married, but then you are separated from your ex-husband or wife,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
then you tick separated. But if, for example, you're married and then you have a new partner, okay? So, may love life ulit,
Mm-hmm.
okay? So, you tick partner. So, yun yung dapat isipin ng mga applicants when they do tick those boxes about the
Okay.
civil status. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Okay po. So, sa lagay po niya, if the partner is separate from previous spouse,
So, dapat
ang
separated
tamang
siya.
ilagay, separated.
Separated. Unless
Okay.
kung meron siyang bagong partner, then dapat itik
Mm-hmm.
niya is partner.
All right.
Okay?
Okay po.
And if
Thank
you
you.
are not married, but you have a partner, then you tick partner. Okay?
Partner pa
But
rin.
ang partner is different from boyfriend, girlfriend in the Philippines. So, definition of a partner in New Zealand is that you are living together. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning live in. Okay? You live in the same house. Okay? So if
Yes.
you're boyfriend, girlfriend, you maintain different houses. You go to your house, the other one goes to his house. So boyfriend, girlfriend, you're not partners. Okay?
Mm. Okay po. Next po is it okay to mention in the SOP, statement of purpose, that the client tried to apply for jobs in New Zealand before?
Okay. Pag nilagay ito, I think there will be a question about the bona fide intention of the client. Okay? Kasi if you're studying to look for a job, that is not you're not in good faith. You're not a bona fide student. Okay? A bona fide
Mm-hmm.
student is someone who really intends to study in New Zealand and learn about his or her preferred course or study,
Okay.
and will try to apply that course or study in the home country. So, ganun para yung normal or usual reason when you state your purpose in studying New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay po. So, Attorney Jean, red flag siya sa...
I would say so.
Mhm.
This question is actually very vague, but I would say
Mhm.
so. Okay, but
Okay po.
without going to details, pero I would say so.
Yes. Mhm.
Mm.
Okay po. Next po is, what will happen if the student failed to finish his or her program due to unavoidable reason? Worst case scenario, kung nag-fail daw po sa program.
Okay, one immediate effect is that you will not be granted your post-study work visa. Okay?
Mhm.
Failure to complete your course or study would mean you will not be eligible to apply for the post-study work visa. Okay?
Yes.
So, what you can do is probably if you want to stay in New Zealand, okay, you have to re-enroll, reapply for the student visa to finish your
Mhm.
program, to finish your course. Otherwise,
Mhm.
like what I said, you won't get the post-study work visa.
Yes, okay po. Tas meron po tayong isa sa live question. My mom still has a valid multiple visitor visa until July 2022. When can she fly here in New Zealand? So meron daw po siyang multiple visitor visa until July 2022.
October, step 5.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So sa October pa po siya makakapag
Yes.
ano dito.
But
Okay
could be
po.
earlier, like what I
Mhm.
mentioned, could be earlier.
Yes.
But based on the steps that were announced,
Mhm.
October. Step 5.
Okay. Okay po. Next po is the client is planning to bring her family while studying. Can the husband apply for a tourist visa for him and for their child so that they can go to New Zealand at the same time? Is it recommended?
So ang question is it recommended?
Opo.
Well, if you have all the money in the world, why not? Okay? But if your planning is, but if your intention is just to visit or probably, I don't know, whatever your intentions are, apart from seeing your spouse,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I would not recommend it kasi una-una magastos. Okay? But again, with the board, like with the border closure, again, step 5, October pa.
Mm-hmm. The latest October 2022.
Mhm.
Okay po.
Mhm.
Ito po, if client is currently working at a US-based company and if she is planning to continue working in the same company even if she is in New Zealand, is she required to declare it? Will it be considered as a New Zealand work experience?
First question is she required to declare it? Yes.
Opo.
Okay? Lahat ng trabaho, lahat ng work, you have to declare, you have to be truthful with everything.
Mhm.
Okay? Second question, will it be considered New Zealand experience? No. Kasi US-based company siya.
Mhm.
Okay?
Okay po. Tapos yung follow-up niya po is if she will be working full-time to that US-based company, can she still work part-time in New Zealand?
Yes. Kasi yung part-time work naman is, your work rights part-time is in New Zealand. But of course, this
Mhm.
is subject to your tax obligations, uh, with with whether the Philippines or US. Okay, so you figure
Yes.
that out. Okay, I'm not a tax
Okay
lawyer,
po.
pero be mindful of your tax obligations. Okay, if you're working for a US based company.
Yes. Okay po. So, that's it, Attorney Jean. Attorney Jean, may pahabol lang po, ha?
Yes,
Isa pa, Attorney Jean.
meron pa. Okay.
Yes, isa po. Stepchildren can be considered as dependent po here in New Zealand.
Well, depends on how do you define yung what is the situation or circumstances. Kasi meron
Mhm.
stepchildren where the the kung married ba yung father or mother with the father biological parent. So
Okay.
or hindi kasi that would really depends on what requirement. Kasi other merong minsan if you're married kasi you need a court order to your ex to
Mhm.
the biological parent. Otherwise, according to the Philippines, custody is with the mother if unmarried.
Mhm.
So again, I have to see the situation, pero
Yes.
there are different rules depending on whether the parents were married or not, or how old are
Yes.
children then. Okay?
Okay. So, it really depends po sa situation nung
Yan ang medyo
parent.
magulo na situation.
Okay.
So,
So, yeah, you better get in touch with us para mas makita ni Attorney Jean din kung ano
mhm,
yung scenario best for your stepchild, stepchildren.
mhm,
Attorney Jean,
mhm.
ngayon po dumarating yung ibang messages. Is it all right po that we
Sige,
get
sige.
questions pa?
Pahabol talaga.
Yes. Opo eh. Ito po, isa po from Giselle. If the student is eligible to bring the family and then decided to apply tourist visa muna for the dependents, pag nasa New Zealand na po ba na mag-apply, pwede na po ba mag-apply under the student?
Okay, medyo nagulo ako sa question niya. If student
So,
is eligible to bring the family,
mhm,
then so yung decided to apply for the tourist muna for the
visa for the
dependent.
dependent. Apo. Tapos pag nasa New Zealand na daw siya, pwede ba mag-apply under
Parang
the
parang maguguluhan si Giselle sa kanyang application. Kasi when
mhm.
you apply for a tourist visa, you have to state your purpose, 'di ba? So,
Yes.
what is your purpose in visiting New Zealand? Okay? Tapos kapag nag-apply ka na student, baka ma-question, balikan yung purpose, 'di ba?
Mhm.
So,
Yes.
yon. It may or may not happen. I'm just saying. But
Yes
if
po.
medyo may akong case officer eh.
Ah,
so babalikan ko 'yon. Kung ako yung case officer, babalikan ko yung purpose mo. Sinabi mo short visit lang. Tapos ba't ka
mhm.
nag-apply ng student ngayon? Ah, 'di ba? So,
Yes, opo, totoo po. Yung intention din po. Yan.
yes.
So, Giselle, yeah, it's better na clear, according to Attorney Jean, clear yung iyong intention for this one. Next po is how long yung post-study work visa? Parang before 3 years yung nasa slide, 1 year na lang.
Okay, 'di ba 1 year na lang Auckland, outside Auckland is 2 years. That
Two.
is the latest rule. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yes. Kasi
Unless baguhin na naman. Kasi
yes.
baka alam mo 'yon na yung may definition na ng city eh, 'di ba? They have
Yes po.
released a list of the cities. So baka mamaya sabihin nila if you're in a city, 1 year,
Yes.
if you're in a region, 2 years. I don't know. So it can
Yes.
happen. Mhm.
So, baka po si Aloysia, yung before kasi yung way back po, no? Yung 3 years
Mm.
pa yung post-study work visa. But
Ang tagal na
according
niyan.
yes,
Before
oh,
pandemic pa yan.
but according to Attorney Jean nga din, no, at the moment, yun nga, 1 year for Auckland, 2 years outside Auckland. 'Di ba po,
Yes.
Attorney
Mhm.
Jean? Ayun.
Yes.
So, yun po. So far, yun na po yung questions natin. Thank you, Attorney Jean, again for answering the questions. Closing remarks na lang din po for all our clients and also aspiring migrants because after learning na mag-open na ang borders, they're really keen to, migrate here in New Zealand. Your closing remarks
Closing
na lang.
remarks, if you want to come to New Zealand, get vaccinated. Yun
Yes.
lang naman, yun lang naman yung talagang golden rule. Okay?
Mhm.
So,
Yes.
get vaccinated, I should say. Okay?
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, yun.
Yun lang
So
naman.
everyone, gusto ni Attorney Jean, dapat fully vaccinated. Tama po, Attorney
Yes, kasi
Jean.
sa visa, it's not a requirement to be
Mhm.
vaccinated, but
Yes.
it's a requirement of the Ministry of Health when you do enter the borders. Diba? So,
Mhm.
so nothing, it wouldn't be asked in the questionnaire sa
Apa.
visa application if you're vaccinated or upload a proof of
Mhm.
vaccination, wala
Mhm.
yan. It's actually the New Zealand Borders, Ministry of Health, when you do enter,
Aha.
uh, that they would ask proof of vaccination.
Okay.
Classic example, everyone knows what happened to Djokovic. Hmm,
Yes.
diba?
Yes.
Diba? So, diba, he has all the exemptions, sinabi niya, pero hindi requirement sa visa, pero sa border, hinanapan
Mhm.
siya. Okay?
Yes. So talaga importante pa rin, Attorney Jean, yung fully vaccinated yung travelers
Yes.
na
And I always get a question before, attorney, recognize ba ng New Zealand ang Sinovac or whatever, kahit anong ano. Nasa
Mhm.
listahan naman. Actually, it's a long list. So kasama dun yung Sinovac,
Yes.
Pfizer, AstraZeneca, even yung
Yes.
Sputnik nandoon. Okay? So,
Yes.
very comprehensive naman ng list. So,
Yes.
so don't worry about the brand or the type of vaccine as long as you get vaccinated.
Mhm.
Okay?
Yes po. And we will update them naman if ever may future changes regarding ano
Mm.
po, yan, sa COVID
So
restrictions,
actually,
vaccination.
there's no point in
Mhm.
considering student visa. There's no point in paying the tuition fee. There's no point in applying for a visa if you don't want to get vaccinated. Okay? I know
Yes.
some people don't want to because of personal or
Mhm.
health reasons, but if you are not considering vaccination, don't parang waste of time and effort
Mm.
of considering New Zealand.
Yes.
Di ba? Kasi
Yes.
ilang
Opo.
percentage tayo, New Zealand population? 95%, right?
Yes, opo. Nasa ano na po tayo? 96.
96. See, that's a
Apo.
very high, di ba? Vaccination
Yes.
rate. So, I don't think the government would make a few exemption for a few people,
That's
especially kung di citizens or residents, di ba?
yes, totoo po 'yan. Okay. Yes, thank you, Attorney Jean. So talagang according to Attorney Jean, get fully vaccinated if you are planning to study here in New Zealand because nga it's not a requirement nga daw per immigration but it's requirement of the Ministry of Health. Okay. So guys, Thanks again, Attorney Jean. And don't forget, you may contact us via our email address, info@securevisa.com if you have any questions. And you may phone us via the numbers posted on your screen. And we can be seen across our social media platforms, our Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Spotify, our Secure Visa podcast. So do continue to follow and subscribe. And if you haven't yet, do watch our free 60-minute video on how being an international student for a year led Aina to her permanent residency despite not being financially ready and not a highly skilled professional. All the important information you will learn in that video. So find the link in our comment section and register now for free. And that's a wrap. Thanks everyone for joining us today. Don't forget to follow and share our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and watch out for our upcoming live sessions, Client Connect sessions. So keep healthy and safe, everyone, and goodbye for now. See ya.